Right, so it's a beautiful Wednesday morning. This is Good Morning Africa. My name is Kwame Owusu Danso. So today is the 26th of August 2020. Super excited to come away with today's edition. Yesterday we had a very wonderful time here on the show. Monday it was absolutely beautiful. Today promises to be very exceptional as well, because today we get to listen to these big brains as well. And we're going to be discussing issues that are of importance to the forward march and the development of our dear nation, Ghana. You know, every time we sit here, like I always say, it's not as though we are the most intelligent. We're just privileged to be to get the opportunity to sit here and to have a conversation with you. And so your involvement in the morning show is very incidental to its success. Which success means that we need to ensure that we speak truth to power at all material times, and we have conversations that will help in the acceleration or if you will, the accelerated development of our dear nation, Ghana. And so your messages, your opinions, your thoughts, your disagreements, contradictions, what have you, are very, very crucial. Please make sure that you share them with us here on the morning show. You can do so via a number of our platforms: WhatsApp messenger, as well as text messenger, and Facebook and YouTube platforms. The WhatsApp number is 0260846539. Facebook, I'm sure you're very much aware, facebook.com/Pan-African Television. And I'm also on Facebook, Kwame Owusu Danso. So you can share with me what your thoughts are on Facebook, and I will be more than willing to read them out here for you on the morning show. Super excited again to come your way. Now, let me quickly take you through the topics that we've selected for our conversation today, and then I will introduce my panelists for today's conversation. This morning, we are going to be touching briefly on an African story which has got to do with COVID-19 in Kenya. And so the story says COVID-19 turns Kenya's classroom into kitchen coops. Nkukubu, kitchen coops. Chicken coops, I beg, I said kitchen. Alleged how President Akufo-Addo used public funds to pay foreign election consultants. The Inside newspaper reported this particular story. Yesterday, if you recall, we had a conversation on this subject matter, a matter involving the then I Am for Nana Foundation, which was superintended over by the current finance minister, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, and which foundation entered into an agreement with KRL, and KRL superintended over the communication department of the MPP, I beg your pardon. Their core mandate was to ensure that MPP was rebranded, that Nana was brought into power. They entered into some agreement. Initial sum of some $100,000 was paid, but the contract subsequent to that was now formed between a new agreement that arose, you know, from the original agreement, was now formed between the government of Ghana and KRL. And so, you know, it's raised a lot of concerns because the matter is now before the I'll get it for you. I've got it for you. You know, so I mean, it is as a result of that. That is how come the matter is in the public domain. We're going to be engaged in that particular conversation here on the show. Bank of Ghana pays all depositors. 95% depositors of collapsed microfinance companies also paid. Ghanaian Times reported that particular story. Bawumia dares NDC to show projects in 2 weeks. Cape Coast, like Ho2, deserves an airport. Bawumia replies critics. The Ghanaian publisher reported this particular story. So these are but a few of the very burning issues that are raging, you know, if you will, unraveling or unfolding in the country. We decided to select just a few of them for our conversation this morning. I've been graced on the show by the presence of Al-Haji Dr. Muhammad Marzouk. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
And our lost and found brother and friend and comrade and patriot, who is gunning to lead the people of Anya Sultan constituency in a person of Dr. Adomako. What's your tree name? Is it Kwesi or Kweku or Kwame?
Kwesi.
Aha, hey, Kwesi then I was saying. See, that's the plan because it's Kwesi is upset. Dr. Adomako Kwesi Kisi. Good morning to you, sir.
Morning.
And how are you doing, sir?
Please, I'm doing well.
How's the constituency?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. And how are the people, the constituents?
Are
they still poised? Are they energized?
We're gearing up for change.
Are they still energized?
Yes.
No,
yes.
I mean, you have the power already. Why are you gearing for change?
As in, I'm coming on
you
board.
Are coming.
Yeah.
But Master, when you come, do the job.
We will.
If you don't do the job, you are my friend, but you'll be surprised.
We will.
I will deal with you personally.
Wabachuni.
You Obade.
Wabachuni.
Wabachuni. I don't speak Ghana, forgive me.
Yeah.
I'm a Voltarian American. Kumfantican. Anyway, so welcome aboard again, guys, and thank you very much for joining us on the show. Where I don't know if Rashid Popo will be here. Justice, will Rashid Popo be here this morning? Yes? No? So you didn't get him. He didn't come. He decided not to come. So Rashid Popo has decided not to come for the morning show this morning, according to Justice Appiah. All right. Honorable Rashid Popo has decided not to come for the morning show, according to Justice Appiah. All right, cool. You've said so. You said he's decided not to come for the morning show. And you didn't make provision for any other representative from the NDC side. No problem. Justice Appiah. Yes, no problem. Don't send me a message. I'm not going to read your message. Anyway, let me come into the studio and deal with my bosses here. Let's quickly kickstart the conversation with the African story, the Kenyan story. COVID-19 turns Kenya's classroom into chicken coops. Dr. Adamakusi, I think it's fair to start with you on this one, please.
Well, good morning, and thanks again for the opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
It's always fun to be here and to get an ounce of, shall I say, KOD into you and to get your morning going.
Yeah.
COVID clearly has affected many things in the world. And part of the things it's affected is our educational systems. And it has also affected teachers and their salaries, especially in the private sector, where private schools are not operating, or in some cases, those using internet fine. But largely, most private schools are non-operational at the moment. And this Kenyan story, I see it as a very interesting adaptation formality. You know, what I mean by that is that these may be very tough times for these schools who, one, may have taken loans out to build, two, may have been dependent on the regular attendance of students to settle and is COVID-free to an extent. And they are adapting to survive in times of COVID. I'd have wished that there were other things they could do instead of turning classrooms into chicken coop, because reconverting it back to a classroom for students might also be another difficult task, including washing, repainting, and all kinds of things. And then the stench of the chicken feed and even the chicken, I mean, might be very difficult to clear when and if schools should resume. So that is the only challenging thing I find with that. But then again, per the story, it might be just one location and possibly maybe just one stretch of classrooms. So, you know, it's been blown out of probably proportion. But God willing, we pray that more importantly, the government find ways to cushion the pain and the plight of teachers who are not earning at the moment. That is worrisome. So coming to Ghana, I think the story isn't any different. Our teachers are struggling, and that one I sincerely would plead that any donations of some sort or help that we're giving out, we should, and I shall repeat this, we should heavily consider our teachers who have been out of job for about 3-4 months now.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Adamakusi. Let's now come to you, Dr. Marzuk Abubakar. Dr. Marzuk.
Good morning to the cherished viewers of ours.
Right.
Thanks for the opportunity to be here. Special good morning to the people of Nantong. And
The people
Yes.
of Nanton.
Yes, the people of Nanton.
Very soon.
That is my hometown, not my constituency, my hometown. Because I'm not like Dr. Adwasu Kisi, who will go and stand as a parliamentary candidate or even next presidential ambition, right?
We'll crawl first.
Yes, COVID-19 is a novelty, and therefore we will continue to witness destructive aspect of it as we continue to battle it. You agree with me that it has caused a lot of harm to humanity, ravaged economies, threatened public health systems, downgraded educational systems, and brought social lives into a state of danger. And therefore, anything in relation to destruction about COVID-19 should be taken seriously. It is not at all a crime for an investor to consider another form of investment, but it is highly pathetic for an investor in a critical area of life to abandon that one and then to come to another critical area of life that may also constitute another form of problem. What is happening in Kenya is another manifestation of the weaknesses in other educational system. And I think it gives us the opportunity to reconsider the manner of educational delivery on the continent of Africa. One, you and I know, or you may agree with me, that largely our curricula are not in line with the demands of modern society. Two, we also know that our manner of educational delivery seems to be incompatible with the trends of modernity. And three, our contents are problematic in relation to the demands of modern society. And I think this is an opportunity for us to reconsider how we can design the curricula to respond to the needs of contemporary society. The design of the curricula is one thing, the delivery is another. And COVID has given us the opportunity to rely heavily on technology. I don't think technology is so expensive these days to be applied or utilized in our educational delivery. And if we use the technology, we are going to solve a lot of problems. In this case, I am considering the education at all levels, from the primary to the tertiary. When I mention the technology, I am particularly referring to the use of online systems. When COVID struck, the whole world was put into a state of confusion, and education instantly became a matter of confusion. But it was thrown into a state of confusion. Some countries I can still remember. France came out with a model that education should continue, but at home. Italy, they came out with a model, education continua. Other countries also came out with models that ensured non-disruption or continuation of education. And I think these models could be copied and domesticated on the continent of Africa to ensure continuity in the face of any pandemic. We do not know. We are not doomsayers, but we do not know. We cannot tell what future holds for us. And we cannot guarantee that humanity will not encounter another version of COVID pandemic. Therefore, what we need to ensure is perpetual continuation of education in the face of any pandemic. Online education is very important. It is to give us the opportunity to maximize intake, enhance quality, and achieve excellence. But we need to also invest heavily in online education. That is at the primary level. At the senior high level, particularly in Ghana, the online education will help to enhance the quality of the free SHS. That will give teachers and parents to be involved in the educational delivery. When you come to the tertiary level, there are so many educational evils, and these evils could be solved by online educational delivery. One of the evils is sex for grace. If we have a very reliable online system by which examinations are taken and marked by the system, definitely we'll be able to solve 99% of the sex for grace. And at the end of the day, we will save ourselves from what I call sexually transmitted grace.
STGs.
Another evil in the tertiary educational delivery is the compulsory, or let me put it this way, the imposition on students of so-called handouts that are nothing but Google contents and that are made as the sole criterion of passing the examination. Online education will solve this. I believe that COVID is not just a calamity, but also an opportunity for us to enhance the quality of life. And if we are able to handle it very well, in the end, we will not remember the discomfort of COVID, but the comfort of victory over COVID.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alhaji Abubakar Mohammed Marzuk.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Now, let's proceed and look at some domestic stories here. But before that, let me remind you quickly again that we are streaming live on Facebook. So please go and share the Facebook link so that your friends and your colleagues who are not in Ghana can get the opportunity to watch the morning show as well. And also, you can WhatsApp us via WhatsApp number, which is 0260846539. Let's come back home and discuss some other pertinent issues here. Before we get to the KRL issue, which for me is the biggest elephant in the room, I want us to discuss another very important issue, which is the fact that Bank of Ghana claims it has paid all depositors of the banks that suffer some fate in this country. And Dr. Marzuk, I'm kickstarting a conversation with you. Now, I mean, if it is true that that is what it is, then it is quite good, because I know that initially the idea was to pay them with bonds, you know, but it appears that the NDC's promises, are fast catching fire, and so they've had to review their position on this banking sector issue. But what baffles me is that all of us know and we appreciate the difficulty that government claimed it had to go through in revamping the financial space, because it said that the financial space was paralyzed as a result of our own actions and inactions. I'm talking about previous administration. Now, we were made to understand the particular reasons, if you will, that characterized that decision to close down some banks and to lay off some workers. The president keeps on reiterating that even when he visited the Bank of Ghana to ascertain the veracity or otherwise of their claim that they had paid 95% of its customers, he still needed to reiterate that. We've moved beyond that, right? That decision to do or not has already been effected. So on why is the president, and that's my issue, you understand? Yeah. I'm not taking away the fact that we've been paid. That's a different conversation. If it is true, and I'm sure you're going to touch on that, but if you read this paragraph, it says, what baffled the president? This is the president talking, right? The president still justified. So let's look at paragraph 3, or actually 4. Justifying the President Akufo-Addo commended the Bank of Ghana for the manner in which it handled the banking sector crisis and pledged the government's commitment to give the central bank the necessary support it needs. Flowing from that is the justification, or he was justifying the need for the banking sector crisis cleanup. He said the country's financial sector was very fragile and therefore needed such a drastic measure to save it from collapse. Now, what baffled the president, however, were the accusations of government by the people who are alleged to have caused the banking sector crisis. He said the culprits of these crises have, quote, found it convenient to be pointing accusing fingers at those of us who are trying to clean up the mess. But that is the way of things. Those things never bother me too much because I understand the need for politicians to agitate, unquote. Since when did questioning government policies become a crime? Particularly because we are practicing a multi-party democracy. And the responsibility, one of the responsibilities of
Can you read that part
people,
again?
So that part says, the president said the culprits of the crisis have, quote, found it convenient to be pointing accusing fingers at those of us who are trying to clean up the mess. But that is the way of things. Those things never bother me too much. This is the president talking, because I understand the need for politicians to agitate. When the MPP was in opposition, they raised several issues and brought several issues to the fore. Issues about the energy crisis, issues about the mismanagement of the economy, to the extent that former President Mahama was described as incompetent because in the estimation of the MPP, he mismanaged the economy when dollar was hovering around 3.7. Now, where is dollar now, right? I mean, this is just beside the point. Why do we find the need, and we as in government, because all of us are part of it, why do we find the need to continue to backtrack and, cast some aspersions, if you will, cast a slur or whatever it is, you are the Englishman, on people who are seeking to only put the feet of government to the fire of responsibility? Which responsibility? Because no one person is a sole repository of knowledge.
No.
And if they found it expedient to put some of these things out or bring some of these things to the fore, you need to identify whether or not they are making some sense, or then you can holistically deal with the issue. They raise concerns. Some may be genuine, some may not. But if you box them all together and say that they are critics who allegedly created the financial sector crisis, and they themselves have found a need to come and question you when you are, does it make sense to you now in this modernized, world of practicing some progressive politics?
First of all, let me emphasize your point that no one has the knowledge of everything. And I believe that the best form of knowledge is the knowledge of the need for further knowledge. And we all understand. Then we will be able to tolerate divergent opinions, especially in a democratic society. All these issues could be examined within two contexts. We have the political context, then we have the national context. So what the president is saying falls within the context of politics, and we should also understand him. I disagree with him, but I understand, because these issues cannot be analyzed outside these two main tracks: political track, national track. And any time at all the leader of a governing political party, who is also the head of state, talks, he or she is more likely to be influenced by these two tracks: the partisan track, which should be discouraged at the level of governance, and the national track, which should be encouraged at the level of governance and in the supreme interest of the nation. The president calls them politicians, right? Mm-hmm. At least in the wording of the paragraph that you have mentioned. He says he understands, I'm paraphrasing him, he understands the need for politicians to agitate. I see them in this context as not politicians, but concerned business people whose interest is to contribute to the economic development of Ghana. And we understand that in the interest of the nation, there is the need for all of us to contribute to the sanitization of the financial and economic sector. No one questions that. But the sanitization itself should be handled as a national project and not as an opportunity for political vendetta. And if you continue to speak this way, definitely you are creating the opportunity for people to continue to politicize what is supposed to be national. And at the end of the day, it is the country that suffers. Those who were caught in that web of cleaning the financial sector have their own burden. Until we are made to understand that they are solely responsible for the insanity, we should be pardoned to conclude that what happened, and I'm referring to the wrong that happened, was a collective responsibility. Government supervised that insanity. An individual business person cannot at all do anything wrong in his or her own capacity without the collaboration of government agents. So if today government decides to solve that problem, then those individuals should not be made scapegoats. Those individuals should not be antagonized. Those individuals should be given the opportunity to present their versions on the issue. Those individuals should be allowed to enjoy their constitutional and civic rights as Ghanaians. And if there is the need for government to take legal actions against them, so be it. But it will be unthinkable for any person in government or outside government to assume that people will not criticize whatever government does in relation to the sanitization of the financial sector. government thinks it wise to first of all discover that level of rot. And if the discovery by government is not a crime, the mechanism to solve that problem by government should also not be a crime. And therefore, a counter opinion on the mechanism should equally not be a crime. And I think when His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo makes such statements, he is only giving us the opportunity to over-politicize what is supposed to be purely nationalistic. I believe that he has every right as head of state, as head of government, to solve that issue. But in a constitutional democratic environment, he should also be ready for divergent opinions.
Absolutely.
These opinions must be respected and seen as part of the solution to the rot.
Yeah, let me still stay with you, because part of the reasons that were cited for, you know, for when the decision was made to close down some banks was that we could have given them some oxygen to breathe.
Sure.
And, you know, the cost at the time for this whole reform, you know, was about, I think, 21 million Ghana cedis or 20 billion Ghana cedis or so. I mean, according to different reports, one is 21 million, the other is 20 billion. But Kenneth Furata said it was going to cost us about 21 million Ghana cedis. Right? So let me just go with Kenneth Furata's figures. I mean, we felt that, you know, some of these banks were indigenous banks. And in the spirit of encouraging entrepreneurship, in the spirit of encouraging people to invest in their own countries, one would have thought that the wisest thing to do was to find a way of hand-holding some of these banks that were practicing bad corporate, you know, governance practices, which practices led to the mismanagement of those banks. Because the management or the mismanagement of those banks were not as a result of the workers who were there.
No.
It was as a result of the people who were at the top echelons of the various banks.
Sure.
In some instances, you will recall that some of the banks were not neck deep in those mismanagement activities that were cited as part of the reasons for the closure of these banks. Some were actually practically political. An example is the Heritage Bank. Heritage Bank was closed down primarily because, so you see Heritage Bank, you see Unibank, you see Royal Bank, you see Sovereign Bank, you see Beige Bank, you see Construction Bank and things like that. These are banks that were, in fact, GN Bank, these are banks that were built up from the ground up. And one would have thought that, you know, the most humane decision to have taken at that material moment was to find out their flaws and try to build them up. Because these people, beyond the fact that people were confident in them, GN Bank, for instance, was in every nook and cranny of this nation.
Sure.
Places where you would not find Ghana Commercial Bank, GN Bank was there. In fact, when I went to Nalerugu Gambaga, some village somewhere, they had GN Bank there. GN Bank, or is it GN Savings or GN Bank or something like that? So I would have thought, I mean, we could have been measured in that decision to close these banks so that we could find a way of helping them at least breathe and keep them afloat till such a time where, you know, and if we felt that the managers of the banks were not acting in the best interest of the banks, we could have just opted for piercing the veil of incorporation. All those who were found to have been culpable in any act, you know, that led to those, you know, financial issues could have been prosecuted.
Well, I do not know the financial situation of the country then. I don't know. But what you have suggested is the best. However, it may not be feasible in relation to the capacity. For example, it is good for us to find a humane solution. But that humane solution may not be feasible in the context of the economic capacity of the government. If let me no let me no, just a minute. For example, if we want about 100 million, I'm just giving an example, 100 million Ghana cedis to solve a problem that will be humane, then we look at our coffers and we can only find 50 million. Definitely, in that context, we will not be financially capable to adopt that humane solution. That is number one. If that is the case, then we can all understand the government. But even in that manner, government should also understand that it is a holistic problem and therefore demands a holistic solution. In that case, whoever is bringing a solution or an opinion should not be seen as somebody working against the interests of government. We should also understand that. Another issue that I want to tackle out of your question is the so-called claim that those people cause the mess. I don't want to accept that. Kwame, two things are available here. But what you have just said raises two things. One, complicity. Two, irresponsibility. Complicity may be in line with performance. Irresponsibility is also associated with regulation. Unless I am told that in Ghana, banking is not regulated, the financial sector is not regulated, then I will believe that that sector is meant for anything, or it's meant for self-regulation. And even if it is meant for self-regulation, government still has a responsibility to ensure sanity. So when we are talking of the mess, we cannot single out the victims of the banks. I'm referring to the owners as those who have caused the mess. We have to be fair to all the players, the performers, and the regulators. And today, if the regulators cannot be held responsible for complicity, they must be held responsible for irresponsibility. Because it was out of their lack of proper regulation that those people misconducted themselves. And if you misconduct yourself in a situation that demands proper regulation by someone, then that person should also have at least a moral question to answer.
Right.
He or she may not have a legal or political question, but at least he or she must have a moral question to answer for irresponsibility, for not providing proper regulation. And for government to think this way, it is very unfortunate.
But you see, but when the issue has been raised, which issue is to suggest that the amount of money that was pumped into the cleanup exercise by government far outweighs the amount of money that would have been needed to give these banks oxygen to breathe. What would you say? Because that was the argument that was raised by the minority, by the minority, I mean, yeah, by the minority, I mean, you know, the opposition parties and things like that.
If you observe what I said,
yeah,
my statement, just a minute. If you observe what I said, I put them in conditional clauses.
Okay.
If
you said if, yes, I
right.
Said if.
Yes. So if what you are saying is the truth, then government itself should be held responsible.
Okay.
Then we can be we will be pardoned to conclude that the whole exercise is a matter of political vendetta.
Yeah, because people have also raised the argument about whether or not Data Bank was also financially viable at the time, you know, to not be added to the banks that were gasping for breath at that time, because I mean UT Bank and all of those banks were closed down. You know, they are saying that why is Data Bank that so big that Data Bank could fulfill its financial obligations and UT Bank couldn't. You know, so that's why people keep on reading, because Data Banks we know belongs to the finance minister. You know, so people have been reading political meanings into these matters. You know, and I think that oftentimes we just leave these things unattended to. So it becomes a matter of public conjecture. People conjecture.
Sure.
People draw their own conclusions. People say whatever they want to say because it has been left unattended to. Now, if you have the president of the land in responding to these matters, lower the standards by also finding, you know, making statements that find expressions in the political domain, then where are we headed to?
And that is very unfortunate. But let me also put it this way. See, when we create the impression that no one can be criticized, then we are setting a very dangerous precedence.
Okay.
But let me just conclude.
Let me
just conclude that for the government and the opposition to convince Ghanaians, both of them will have to rise above partisanship and provide us the accurate data for us to analyze and form our own conclusions.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Well, you remember I was telling you about the amount of money that was spent on the banking sector cleanup. I mean, I've been seeing some conflicting figures. I don't know
exactly
which one is the truth.
You see,
because first you're saying 14 billion here. This was captured by the Pulse newspaper, which this was in 2019, September 3rd.
Sure.
Then in November 2019, Major Online says 2020 budget 11.7 billion spent on banking sector cleanup. Let's come to 2020. 2020, but this is the Guardian newspaper, Guardian.com. 2020 budget 64.7 billion spent on banking sector cleanup. The modernghana.com says 2020 budget 64.7 billion used to clean up the banking sector space. So it appears that the current figure is 64.7 billion Ghana cedis, which is why the opposition parties raised some fundamental questions about why we didn't use that amount of money or that money to resuscitate the banks that were, you know, finding it difficult to stay afloat. So
yes. So here I am saying that, as you have rightly said, we are not at all privy to the veracity of these statistics.
Yeah, we must subject them to strict proof. Very well.
And for us to be able to understand it very well, these two political parties should provide data based on scientific reality, not data based on political fortunes.
All right, thank you.
Even if there is the need for both of them to come together to face Ghanaians in a situation of debate, give us the data, let all of us understand. Then those with the scientific minds will interrogate the data very well. And then at the end of the day, all Ghanaians will be conducting a national project in the interest of the Republic.
Well, thank you very much. Dr. Almakisi, let's hear from you, sir.
Yes, KOD.
Yes, my boss.
Banking sector issues, and I'm going to deal with it as simple as I can.
Okay.
Banking, financing, marketing.
Okay.
Now, let me state clearly that in marketing, sometimes a company like Coca-Cola can pay a company like Casapreco that, listen, this your product is affecting our product. So this is what you can earn every month or so. Take the money, don't even bother being on the market.
Right.
That is marketing. Sometimes too, some companies pay to crash a company totally.
Yeah.
So Pan-African decides that he will crash Radio Gold and manages to crash Radio Gold. That is marketing. Okay? It is still political, but it is marketing.
Mafia marketing.
Now, let me be very clear about certain things. Even in the Americas, when the Democratic Party comes to power, honestly, some people benefit business-wise.
Sure.
Okay? Likewise, when the Republican Party comes to power, different business enterprises benefit. Why so? Because of policy standpoints. Maybe President Akufo-Addo comes, he says, I want to do railroads. What happens to all railroad businesses? They boom. Because of a simple policy change, which makes business favorable for those in the railway industry, meaning the metals that are used, meaning the gravels that are used. So if I'm a tanker driver or a big time large equipment driver, this railroad industry employs me, I get a job. Under a new administration, under new policies, I get a job. Listen, yesterday, okay, I observed an ambulance ride picking up a patient to one of our referral centers, and it was beautiful. Why do I say beautiful? 4 people supporting the ambulance services, the driver, a nurse, and 2 assistants. Beautiful. That is employment per one policy, which is introduction of what? Ambulance into the country. So each ambulance has brought about some employment for people. And look at the phone calls involved. You have to call the ambulance services. So people have been employed to handle phone calls related to ambulance services. Now, coming to banking, because that is all we are on now. What is banking? Banking is that I open a shop, I agree to accept deposits from people, people's hard-earned money. Okay? So, Marzu, Kwame, or anybody, okay, makes their money in the market, either selling beans, yams, potatoes, or cassava. They make their money, they bring it to me as a banker, I save that money for them. And then, how do the banks make money? They tell Yao Menu that, listen, we can give you people's money at an interest rate of whatever percentage. And as you pay, we make the profit, and we give a major amount to the people who have brought their money to us. This is what banking is. Now, there are requirements. You cannot use people's monies just like that because you are the repository or the container of people's money. No. There are regulations on how you can go about it. And more importantly, there are regulations with regards to how much deposits you have before you make a certain amount of loans. In the sense that if I take 100,000 Ghana cedis from people, I cannot go and make loans of almost 80,000, whereby the bank's money left is just 20,000. In case people say they are carrying for their money, then you don't have money to give them because you've loaned out all their what? Monies. Now, I always say this to Kwame, but I think he forgets. Listen, some of the matured banks in this country, when I say matured, Ghana Commercial Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, Stanbic, at the time, let's say Barclays, which has now changed name to a different name, EcoBank, matured. My question is, when a matured bank takes 10 years or more to make another branch, have we considered why that is the case? There are many reasons for that. The viability of the venture, the convenience to clientele, the nature of banking in terms of cost saving to banking itself. Because if you don't operate in a cost saving manner, boy oh boy, you end up taking people's deposits for your banking operation, which is not acceptable. Now, taking emotions out of all of this, if you are assessing or looking at banking, one, we have to think of the people who are putting their hard-earned money into the bank. Then we will consider the employees of the bank. Who's more important? The Wakwatim Fifre, Edin Isikabetu Bank, and as the Oti Bank under air condition, Odi on Bakunisika. Where do you draw the line? Which is important to us as a government, as a governor? You ought to always seek first the interest of the people making deposits, because it is their money, not the bank's money. Now, Kwame keeps saying that GN Bank, okay, was everywhere, ignoring the one key thing in the banking industry, which is even still kicking, ass: mobile banking, mobile money. All those supposed convenience of having GN Bank close to people, honestly, from a managerial board level thinking, totally inappropriate, considering what mobile money banking is doing now.
When did mobile money banking gain so much?
Let me keep at it.
But that's what they are. I'm in that space. So I know what I'm talking about. When did mobile money become prominent?
That is why I'm saying that.
Country?
That is why I'm saying that from a board level decision, when you're making your decision with regards to moving into places and things, these are very important things. And Kwame, back to my point, which you may find difficult understanding. I've asked time and again, the mature banks who have bigger deposits, even them, are very conservative, very careful in opening multiple branches.
It doesn't make them better than GM.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Because Ghana, hold on. The banks that you are referring to, Ghana Commercial Bank, is a state-owned bank, isn't it?
EcoBank is not a state-owned bank.
Hold on. EcoBank is a foreign bank.
Barclays Bank.
It's a foreign bank.
Fine.
It's a multinational bank.
Stanbic.
It's a multinational. All these banks are multinational banks.
Okay.
Right. Zenith Bank is also a multinational bank.
Okay.
It's a Nigerian bank. Ghana Commercial Bank is a you know how Ghanaians manage domestic banks. How come that Zenith Bank has been able to establish itself so well in Nigeria and has expanded to Ghana? Zenith Bank is not a state-owned bank in Nigeria. It's a privately owned bank. The point I'm trying to make is that look at all these other media houses springing up. Look at GBC, because it's managed by the state.
No, but
you find that
where you are forgetting,
yes, sir.
Kwame.
Yes, sir.
Let me modulate to Pan African.
Okay.
Has Pan African opened additional branches? Your TV station. Have you opened?
But let's be fair. Let's be fair.
Who was the regulator at the time?
Beyond that, they were also lending money to government. They were lending money to government. The government.
It doesn't matter.
The government asked where they were getting those monies to lend to government.
Okay, so this is here. Wait till.
Here.
GN Bank, under regulators of a different administration, was allowed to do an inappropriate.
How do you describe it as inappropriate? At the time, it wasn't hurting anybody.
That is where you are.
GN Bank told you.
That is why I have a problem,
but
because
Unibank told you
cannot use my deposits the way you want.
Yeah, but Unibank told you. Why? Are you telling me that all these banks don't use depositors' money for other transactions? They need to buy shares, bonds, and go to gold things like that.
By regulation, if you are using deposits, there's a limitation. Please.
Are you saying that they were not following that protocol?
They weren't.
How do you know that?
Oh, these are the facts.
What facts?
Kwame, back to my point.
This is purely political.
Clearly insolvent.
You decided to come and close these banks.
Kwame,
we have seen from the quarters of your party.
Listen,
a letter that indicated their action plan upon assumption of office.
Kwame,
and that's precisely what you're following.
This letter, let me remind you. For instance, there's been purported letters coming from the presidential office which have been totally not truthful.
You are going to deny the existence of this.
No, Kwame, listen. My point here.
This letter came out in January, even when the decision had not been reached.
Kwame, that letter you are talking about, for instance, as I sit here, I cannot for 100% say it really originated from the party. And Kwame, from a political standpoint, even when you sit in a board meeting, there are some decisions that are not scripted. And this is one of the decisions that clearly, in any person's right mind, will not script this, if we are thinking that way. But Kwame, back to my point. Let's minus politics
Exactly.
Let me tell you
No,
this.
we are minusing politics. I'm being very,
Kwame,
I'm being very objective.
from a managerial standpoint,
Yeah.
I beg to differ. Consider even KFC in Ghana. Do you know how many years it'll take them to get X amount of stores?
That is somebody's corporate decision. You see, I'm making a big mistake.
No.
That is somebody's
Banking is corporate.
No, that's
Banking is corporate.
But KFC's corporate decision may be that okay, we will expand every 5 years. That is their policy. That's their corporate policy.
It's
foreign. But beyond that, you see,
listen.
Let's also eschew politics because you are discussing this matter purely from
my economics knowledge and investment knowledge. When I saw GN Bank all over, I was hurting. I was crying because listen, if it is my business, there's no way I'll be doing that because cost of electricity alone for GN Bank a day.
A day. What requires somebody to open a business somewhere?
Kwame,
first of all,
I have told you this.
First of all, you do feasibilities. Hold on.
Walmart.
You do
the guy operated.
Why do you think KFC went to put their branch at East Legon?
Kwame.
Why?
Kwame. Walmart opened the first store for over 15 years before he added on another store.
Absolutely.
Before he added on another store.
And I'm saying that.
My point I'm making
Did he
here,
just add on another store just anywhere? They do a feasibility study.
And
within that 15-year period you are talking about, they are looking out for places where they can set up. They are looking at whether or not they will get customers to come to them.
My argument here is that GN Bank's feasibility studies were porous.
From your perspective?
Oh, from a managerial standpoint, I'm telling you that, listen, if you would ask any true banker, they will tell you they cringe when they see bank that just come
flatter around. Okay.
It is a problem.
Granted,
it is a problem.
Granted.
Let me cite another example for you.
Hold on.
Men's Gold.
Hold on.
Kwame.
Men's Gold, we know.
No, I'm citing another example.
It's in court. I don't want us to discuss that.
No. I'm citing an
but
example
the matter
here.
is in court. I don't want us to.
How can Anglo Gold be in business for over 50 years and then somebody comes who is selling, quote unquote, a product of Anglo Gold and he is going to be performing far better than Anglo Gold? As an investor, won't you question yourself that, let me cite an example like
use Unibank,
like Morningstar. Wait. I went to Morningstar. Let me tell you.
Use Unibank.
Morningstar is there, okay? Very reputable school. Then a new school comes with fewer students, and it is promising all kinds of things that we all would wonder. How come Morningstar has been there and is unable to promise this with even better teachers? You have to question. So my point here.
Oh, so you're looking at quality, isn't it?
No, but Kwame, it is people's money,
You're looking at quality.
Depositors' money is very important.
Most children, you give them free SHS for them to go and just stay in school.
Oh, Kwame.
But you give them quality.
Listen.
That's the logic here.
My point
here. People's children, then you give them free SHS. Go to school and go and misbehave.
Kwame.
But people's money there, you will say, oh, it's quality. We need to protect people.
But Kwame, if we venture into school, which we will go into, but let me be clear about this once again. Listen, personally, from my economics background and knowledge, I don't need to swear here.
What did Unibank do?
But my point here.
What did Unibank do?
Oh, can I finish?
No, we are talking about the banking sector. We've gone to Morningstar and Galaxy. I don't want to hear that. I'm saying that what did Unibank do? You are referring to GN Bank because GN Bank is the immediate, easy example that you can use to buttress your argument.
Okay,
let's come to Unibank. Let's come to Heritage Bank. What did they do? Heritage Bank did not even have one branch anywhere.
Can I come in?
But you closed them down. Unibank was performing creditably well. You closed them down.
Can I come in?
Come in.
Okay. So, in a very simple term here, the basis for even creating some of these other banks was flawed. And by their nature, if you want to be stern as a policy regulator, you go back to the source. The foundations are very bad. Quote unquote, the supposed directors don't have the net worth that were put on paper. Listen, all jokes said, Trump's son is in trouble now because of claims on a banking application form for inflating his net worth. It is a crime. You understand? So I won't, if you have, there are different types of headmasters. Some headmasters instill discipline. Some headmasters allow things to go the way they should go. Once you have a different headmaster who is instilling discipline, you cannot come and complain that, we're having a relaxed atmosphere in school. Now this headmaster has come. He's insisting that we go for prep. He's insisting that we finish prep on time, and you are complaining. Kwame, my stand will always be this: apolitical. I beg you, anytime I saw these newer banks doing what is unacceptable banking-wise, I was weeping, because I knew one thing: they don't have the money. It is people's monies they've gone to put there that they are using in a mismanagement way. And I will not support and second it when you tell me that, oh, how about the employees? No. How about the people who are putting the money there? That is the people that we should think about first. When I go and sweat, do my kayayo job, sell my tomatoes, and I come and put the money there for somebody to be employed at my behest, no. So I beg you, my stand is that, listen, we need to call a spade a spade. The setup was an error. We can't continue an error because fair.
No, why would you say it's an error? What did they do? What kind of financial transactions were they involved in? For which reason you would arrive at that decision that it was set up, you know, in a negative manner?
No. I'm not saying set up in a negative.
Hold on. How did you describe it?
The initial setup
you said
was
the
flawed.
Was fraud.
Was flawed.
Was flawed. Okay.
Flawed.
Was flawed. Okay.
So maybe the three of us want to open a bank.
Okay.
You are supposed to have $1 million.
Proud to
you $1 million.
Hold on.
Me $1 million.
Let's interrogate the issues further.
Yes.
Let's interrogate the issues further. You recall that when you guys assumed the reins of power, the Bank of Ghana, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Anderson, increased the minimum threshold for all the banks to 400 million.
Like I said, different headmaster.
You see, so that is why I'm saying that. That is why I'm telling you, because prior to that, they were fulfilling their minimum capital.
No, under somebody.
You came and you increased the threshold to 400 million.
Listen,
you gave the banks a little, and you see all these banks are into lending, are into loaning and things like that, right? So, for instance, if I have loaned you, and now you bring a new policy that says that my minimum threshold should be 400 million, and readily I don't have the money sitting there because I have loaned people money who have not paid back, and on the basis of that, you say that I am not financially stable to continue with my operations. Have you been fair to me?
Oh, I mean,
because they were operating. You see, let's not politicize this matter.
So speed limit, okay?
You came here and you increased the thing from 200 or so to 400 million.
Speed limit
without grace period.
Speed limit
them a little time, but that time.
Speed limit is 30 under one regime, and they realize that it's killing a lot of people. And another regime comes and says, listen, 30 is killing people. Let's bring it to 20 or 25. We have a problem with that. You shouldn't.
Quick commercial break. Stay with us. I shall return shortly. Let's visit our sponsors. We shall return shortly. Stay with us.
Let's visit and come back.
Yeah.
Breakfast a day.
Every day.
Every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Good day. Every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Back. Let me remind you again that we're streaming live on Facebook, and this obviously is your most, let me say, inquisitorial morning show. We try to ask the right questions, and we try to bring out the right answers from our wonderful panelists here. Dr. Adamokisi is still not done with the submission. Let me just allow you to conclude your submission, and then we'll move on to discuss other issues, please.
Okay. So barring all emotions and barring all political insinuation about this banking crisis, personally, I have worry for any depositor whose money is locked up. That's my concern. It's painful experience. Now, moving to the whole thing about banking. Banking is not like insurance. Insurance companies get all their money and use it how they want, because every day people are dropping money in the insurance company's coffers. However, with banking, what banks seek to do is that they take your money and they loan it out to people. That is what banking does. And then they make profit off the loans and then give you, the depositor, some interest per the monies you've put in there. Now, from a regulator standpoint, okay, the regulator of any nation is supposed to be like the policeman to check the banks. And in simple terms, when they realize that you are taking people's monies and the appropriate steps needed to spend or to loan out the monies are not being taken, whereby maybe one board of director or one person with fiduciary responsibility takes the money and goes to do whatever investment business they prefer at their own, behest, without following appropriate measures, then there's a problem. Now, when there's a new regulator in town, or if I should say, a new policeman in town for banking, then what the new policeman seeks to do is what all the bankers have to follow. And if you don't measure up to what the new sheriff in town is asking for, you either merge or you close up shop. And let me say that in the history of banking, there's been so many painful experiences. Hence, my simple plea to any future customer for any bank, it is also your duty to make sure that where you are making your deposits, they follow all the appropriate regulations. They also follow and have enough money so that at any point in time, when and if you should ask for your money, they should be solvent. They should be able. If you put in 100,000 Ghana cedis and you say that I want my 100,000 cedis today, they should be able to give it to you. But when you bank in a place where you put your 100,000, and when you go for your 100,000, they tell you, oh, we can give you 10,000 today. That is not banking. That is a scam. And unfortunately, some of these banks were fronting as scams in that sense because of the inappropriate amount of money they had in their coffers as opposed to what they had loaned out. And these bad management decisions has brought us to where we are. And I am talking from an economic standpoint, business standpoint, managerial standpoint. I beg. It is a painful experience, and trust me, it would have been a more painful experience if some checks were not put in. It would have landed us to a crash, a major, bigger crash, where the casualties would definitely be more than what we are even seeing now. But I must commend Bank of Ghana in the sense that at least some relatives of ours are receiving their monies that they deposited.
Well, thank you very much.
And I think that is good.
Well. I think that we can belabor this argument and stretch it and stretch it and stretch it. Sure. But in the final analysis, the positions are going to be varied.
Sure.
We will never agree on this subject matter because I am particularly sentimental about this issue, and I have my reasons for being sentimental. So I will leave it at that. and respect the opinion of Dr.
I'm on TV.
relative to this subject matter. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to
on
raise
TV.
two concerns
Yeah.
about the submission of Dr. Kisi. One, the claim that because of technology, right, because of the mobile apps,
Yeah, but
there's
you
no
know,
the
in
need for
2017,
Yes.
5th of May 2017,
Yes.
Data Bank opened a new branch in Sunyani.
Sure.
Whilst even mobile money was at its peak,
Sure.
they opened a branch
Sunyani.
in Sunyani. Yeah,
Not several branches.
but Mankesim is Mankesim a village.
No,
GM Mankesim.
Was it only Mankesim?
Yeah, but in Nalerugu,
You understand?
Nalerugu,
When GN Bank opens in my constituency, they open like 5.
No, but Gambaga.
They don't open one row.
Gambaga.
5.
Oh, Masa.
Who does that?
I said, now, Data Bank, how many
Who
branches?
does that?
See, I have a problem
Please,
with
go
that.
ahead.
You know,
My problem with that position is that many Ghanaians in the entrepreneurial sector do not understand the dynamics of these apps. They do not understand the dynamics of these apps. You don't expect people in Kumbunayile or Jisonayile or whatever, all of them who are business people, right, and who are known and familiar to the traditional banking system to heavily rely on mobile apps. So that is a weakness that my good brother may want to consider.
today my
Two,
mother is
yes,
using mobile
two,
money.
yes. Now I'm saying, yes, they are, but,
Mother
but,
may be-
but
they are
at a
educated.
larger scale. You know, when we are using mobile money, I don't think
When I used
those
to send
people.
money to my mom,
Yes,
it was my dad
yes,
who had to go and cash the money out and bring it to
Sure.
my mom because she doesn't know how to use it.
sure.
And that's a fact.
And even, it is a fact. Consider the nature. You know, I talked about online education, but when it comes to education, we are dealing with a particular target audience,
Absolutely.
not the generality of all Ghanaians. So the two are different. Two, you can't. I find it a bit of faulty analogy to compare the multinational banks to the indigenous ones in terms of operation. Definitely, even the bureaucracy that goes into the opening of a branch of a multinational bank is strongly different. Strongly, and I'm using
Even
the word
their minimum
strongly
capital requirement will be
different.
different from that of Ghana.
From the indigenous bank. So that comparison, to me, also sounds problematic. What I am saying is that, selective justice amounts to injustice. If there's a caveat, let all those related to the caveat respond or respect the caveat. But in a situation where you create the impression that some are more Ghanaians than others, that some are more performing than others, that some are more important than others,
Deserving.
in pursuit of a regulation, that itself becomes catastrophe. We must avoid that.
Well, thank you very kindly, Dr. Marzuk. Let me remind you again that if you are watching the morning show today alone, then you are being very selfish because we are, we are bringing out some very important information that I think will be of great benefit to every Ghanaian. So I would implore you to go and share the Facebook live feed so that your colleagues can get to watch the morning show as well. But if you want to contribute, it's very interactive. Share with us what your thoughts are via our WhatsApp number. I'm going to be reading the messages after the next topic. So please just keep them coming in. I will read them as many messages as I can here on the show. Dr. Democracy, let me come to you in respect of the next topic. And Dr. Bawumia is daring the NDC to show projects in 2 weeks. Dr. Bawumia is daring the NDC to show projects in 2 weeks. By the way, yesterday, the Vice President of the Republic of our country, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, was granted an interview by Kwame Owusu on Peace FM. And in that interview, he sought to tout some of the digital achievements of this administration, which digital achievements included the digitization of the ports, and also sought to explain the introduction of mobile money interoperability. Now, in that explanation, Dr. Al-Haji Mahmoud Baumia intimated unequivocally that the introduction of interoperability was the first of its kind in Africa. Now, when he was subjected to strict proof and analysis, he sought to expand on his description or definition of interoperability. Now, what he describes as his definition of interoperability is when money is moved from your mobile money wallet into your bank account. Mobile money wallet into your bank account. That's what he describes as interoperability. I've been in the telecom industry for a small amount of time, so I cannot say that I'm an expert in that field, but that is not interoperability, Mr. Vice President. That is not interoperability. And if you are talking about interoperability, Ghana cannot be the first. It is Kenya. Because when Kenya started using mobile money, Ghana had not even dreamt of using mobile money. So, Mr. Vice President, you need to have that data and that information to be able to boldly and eloquently and emotionally put out some of these facts. Because interoperability is when you are able to do multiple transactions from multiple networks. That's interoperability. But moving money from your bank account, from your wallet to your bank account, is not interoperability. It's called wallet to bank transactions. Wallet to bank transactions.
Element of that,
which is
where you can do at the bank to another bank, which is also
on your phone.
Which is
on your phone.
I'm saying that is also another.
Oh, that's a banking. That's a banking.
Yeah.
That's a. That's a.
And not all the banks were accepting from Vodafone, although they were accepting from MTN. No, I'm just explaining to you.
It's not true.
So, but interoperability is what you are saying, which is like to move from Vodafone to MTN.
Absolutely.
And what was most clear to me, which since you have brought it to me, is the fact that the cost that the NDC put out for that project was far in excess of what
the reality
has been done, which I think is the main
issue.
The main issue. So coming back to we are currently in Ekufuado's administration, and I am bold to say that, Massa, you see, the decision is a simple one. Are they going to bring us something better than what we have now? That's a simple decision, and we can cite one after the other where I think it's going to be very difficult.
But which projects are you referring to? The ones that were misled by the MMDCs or what? Because Kojo Okonkoma said
so
some of the projects were misled by the MMDCs.
So if I can proceed, okay.
No, but I'm interrogating you too. So
no, and I'm saying if I can proceed because I haven't even started.
Okay, all right.
In one breath, the NDC is complaining that the MPP has continued some projects and put their name on it. That is one argument. That, this project was started by NDC. Why is it that you've completed it and you are putting your name on it? That is one breath. So what I'm understanding is that they agree that there has been continuity of some projects. Okay? Because once you make an argument that you've completed some projects and you are putting your name on, that means you are assuming, quote unquote, that some NDC, quote unquote, last administration's projects have been continued. So that is one thing. Now, not me, but people are questioning that in your last account to the country, you said that some hospitals have been completed. You said that some CHIPS compounds have been completed. Now, in another breath, the same people that claimed that these projects were completed are now asking MPP, Massa, why have you not completed the same said projects? Which beats my mind. I'm trying to make sense of that. Because when you are making an account to me, you tell me that, I've painted that house blue. It's completed. In one breath, after 3 years of deja vu, you wake up and then you suddenly ask, Dr. Kisi, but why haven't you painted this building blue? Why haven't you completed it? Then I ask you, per the records you left me, you told me that you have what? Completed. So maybe near day, everywhere. And this is quite serious. Per what Dr. Baromia is telling the NDC, listen, this one, it not be me. Please, you said you have completed some projects. Okay, just show it to the Ghanaian people. It is different from me promising over 100 companies of manufacturing, and I've done maybe 56. It was a projection. We were hoping to have completed manufacturing sites at all these municipals. However, I can tell you that I've done 56 out of the 191 I promised. Me, I'm telling you that I promised so, but so far, this is what I've delivered. How do you hold me in contempt for that? When, in fact, some of the other projects are ongoing. When it comes to infrastructure, we are deeply concerned about cost, because the cost of infrastructure affects the country. It is our own levies or taxes that are used for these projects. Fortunately for us, we have a government who has brought interventions that have touched so many lives. So many lives. Somebody's grandmother is not going to cocoa farm anymore. She can rest a bit because the money she needs to take that child to school, now the government is supporting. Somebody, 2 kids at the same time entering SHS would have said, Kwame, Tenefie, na yao enkwansa. Now that is no more. The 2 of them can go at the same time. I have been trying to make sense of this thing. A president who says that we cannot leave any child behind when it comes to basic education. And then another person who says that no, we can afford to leave some people behind and do other things until we can take on more people. Masa, the visions are day and night. One person says that within the 3 years, 1.7 million have benefited from my decision. Whilst in another breath would have had maybe in the thousands benefit. We're talking now about 1.7 lives that were gainfully employed, gainfully in school, because I see schooling as a profession. When you are stating what profession are you in, you state student. Student is a job. If I don't study hard, I won't get a better job. True or false? So I see being a student as a job. And if you don't do your prep well, if you don't study well, you will not perform well. So I must commend my president for gainfully engaging 1.7 million people in this country in an activity that we all know may have some challenges, but surely their lives are changed for good. Their lives have not been put on hold for another agenda. The population of people in this country now who have had basic education up to SHS have increased. Hence, our human potential has increased. And that is what I'm happy when I sleep. Because leaving people behind is a painful experience. People who may transform their lives into legal profession, into banking profession, into healthcare profession. All of this is now possible because of this directive. And I've been bleeding when I hear that getting a motorbike business is better than continuing and pursuing your education.
I don't get it. What are you saying?
Motorbike business?
Okada.
and pursuing education. That is the debate now.
No, I don't. What is wrong with having an Okada business?
No, I'm saying the debate now.
Yeah.
Shall I end my career there, or shall I have the opportunity to enter into technical school or into university?
Must everybody go to the university?
Or shall I do both? Right.
Even better.
Yes.
No,
Okada
wait,
is
wait,
good,
wait,
which is also possible.
Kwame, the argument.
Must everybody?
The argument.
Instead of you giving those who are already in the business some technical training,
Yes.
you are talking about what must everybody sit in the classroom?
The argument, okay? What is known in economics? If I'm an engineer and I sell water, I sell better than if I don't have
Yeah, so
engineering.
train those people to
You
sell
understand?
better water. Don't ask them to go to SHS before they can come and sell better water.
Oh.
They're already in the business
Kwame.
of selling water.
Kwame.
What are you going to do for them to ensure that they sell better water?
Their business, okay? Let me add here today. You drive better if you have more education.
So your mechanic, the one who works services your car.
Will do better if he had more education. Trust me.
So now he's not servicing your car well. I'll tell him.
Kwame,
I'll tell him.
it is a known fact. Yeah.
I'll tell him that you are telling him
It
you are
is
saying
almost-
on air that he doesn't know how to service your car
I
well.
said he'll do better.
Why? What
He'll
is
do
the reason
better.
not better for you?
He'll do better. If it takes him 3 hours to do the job, he might do it
The
in 2
Einstein
hours.
that you are referring to, which classroom did he sit in? Apple, which classroom did he sit in?
Kwame, don't go there. Don't go there.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you today
Tell me.
Steve Jobs,
Where?
the school he was going to in Seattle, gifted students, top of their line.
And then what happened?
And shall I share this with you?
And what happened?
Somebody like Bill Gates, who dropped out of school,
What happened?
it isn't that school na ojayo. Na watra. Watra.
So the people who have also
What
stopped
you want to say?
schooling,
Yes.
who have decided to think deeply about what they want to do,
Manza.
some have decided to
And
go
you equal.
into. Hold on.
And you
You see-
equal.
You see the hypocrisy in this.
Bill
kind of
Gates
stuff.
was stopping
A white
his
man
class
there.
from
A white man stopping school is
Any
okay.
white man asemu.
But a black man stopping school to go and
Maybe I'll find
pursue his
it.
passion.
Maybe I'll find a
That's not the
difference.
problem.
Me fa.
Maybe I'll find a
That's how
difference.
we are making. You are the one making the comparison.
Me say, these are people they were performing way above
Our very own,
above average.
our very own Kwame Despite. Our very own inspirational Kwame Despite.
How was he performing in school?
No, that's the
Maybe
point.
if
he dropped out,
Quote, quote,
he dropped
wait,
out
wait,
and became a better person and has been able to employ the first, what's this man's name? Abraham Lincoln.
And the Ankamekasi PDD. So
Abraham Lincoln.
we are not comparing PDD.
Abraham Lincoln, which could be.
PDD Uncle School, Papa Biao.
No, let's
What
not
do
do
I
this.
say? And yes,
You should be talking about creating an atmosphere or an environment, economic environment that will allow for everybody to pursue their passions and pursue their dreams and be able to be successful at that. That is what you should be pushing for.
Oko technical school, eko suyanse ni motorbike. Any usuyanse ni echi motorbike.
Chrome have technical school then the say na motorbike.
No, I said my candidate make I say.
No, but Chrome.
Oh, opportunity.
When I was in KNSC, when I was in
To learn.
KNSC and I was studying sociology, they were teaching me about Adam Smith. Which is what I was being taught.
Which is important.
What is important?
Adam Smith, very important.
Not the
Very important.
And not the answer.
No, not the Accentua. Why will you teach
We are
Teaching about Adam Smith.
we are all at liberty.
Sociology, go and check.
sociology?
Max Weber, that kind.
That's wow.
These are the very people who
Yes, draw a wall gecko. And also Bekade.
And draw tilapia.
Wow. Enti Kwame, media.
sociology. You have to teach me like
The difference is clear.
It is not about
Government check.
It's not about asking 1.7 million people to go to school for free. It's about ensuring that those 1.7 million people who have been allowed to go to school will come out better. That is what it is.
And Kwame,
Your educational system as it stands
there
now.
will be no state
Your educational system as it stands now. Your educational. Go and check my post on Facebook.
They haven't transformed. They have
I posted,
transformed.
I said our educational system in Ghana now teaches people to be theoretical and not practical.
Oh, I beg to differ.
Yeah, of course.
I beg to differ.
Theory.
Look,
I beg to differ.
Why do you go to your medical school in Abuchi?
we
I beg to
ensure generally we ensure schooling, not
And
education.
not education. School. Oh, go to school. Oh, go to school. Oh, you have to go to school. Sometimes we beat our kids to go to school.
Gagné, a French scholar, once said, and I quote,
more education is better.
Quote and unquote. There's more learning outside the classroom
than
inside the classroom. So what we should all be talking about is inclusive education. Let us expand the frontiers of scholarship. Let us not conclude that it is only the classroom that ensures scholarship. And I think, no, I'm making a point. I'm not accusing you of saying that. I'm making a point. So it is proper for us to consider our educational delivery, the content, and the curricula. Let's ensure that everybody matters. In certain jurisdictions, people, industries are examined, taken to technical universities, taken to other universities, taken to professional schools, even without any proper background at the primary and secondary level. So let us also adopt that. I think it is my time for me to comment on the, yes, we need to be critical of Bawumia and fair to Bawumia. We'll be critical of him and then we'll be fair to him. Fairly, my elder brother, Dr. Bawumia, has every media, or the electronic media, or the any other version of media. That is your own definition. That is right. However, we expected him to have defined it and made it clear that that was his contextual definition, so that he could have avoided all these confusion, all these disagreements, and all these accusations and other things. He could have avoided them, right? Again, it is good. It is within his legitimate right to dare the NDC to show its project. It is good, and I think that should be celebrated. It is in the interest of democracy. I am, however, urging him to extend the call to his own party to accept the debate thrown to them by the NDC. Let us see how these political giants will debate on issues, so that at the end of the day, the ordinary Ghanaian, that is my opinion, I'm just urging. I support him when he says, when he's daring people to come,
come for a debate.
Yes, come for the, no, he is saying that they should show their proof. And I'm saying that, yes, it's good. Let's NDC accept this challenge. But I think it will be better for him to extend that call to his own party to accept the debate proposed by the NDC. Oh, but projects about what? You see?
Because you only mentioned free SHS. You only mentioned free SHS. That's all you mentioned.
You see, here, I'm trying to be holistic, right? And I'm trying to be, I'm trying to be objective.
Right.
All I am saying is that, all I'm saying is that the Ghanaian voter needs proper information to be able to decide wisely. Let NDC show its projects. Let MPP accept the debate. And I think these two things will enhance the quality of data on democratic governance. They will equip us to better understand the issues and vote wisely. At the end of the day, the mother Ghana will be the beneficiary. So let's agree that. I mean, let's agree on that. And I believe such debates will even ensure national unity.
Absolutely.
Yes. So it's good. Yes, I agree with Dr. Bawumia. NDC must show its project.
All right.
NPP must join the debate.
Right. Ibrahim Washara says, go to Nima and see our brothers with no qualification, but Okada has helped them. Abubakar Abdul Fatah says, Kwame,
go to the ambulance emergency and see how many foots have been maimed. Kwame, it's not easy.
Why?
It's not easy.
Why? Are you saying that somebody who is just walking by the roadside can be knocked down by a car?
No, but
are you saying that we've not seen accidents? In fact,
how
do you even say it?
There are more broken limbs because of Okada.
And
yeah, easy.
When it is regular, you see in Rwanda. Why? Rwanda, that's their word of translation. I've lived in Rwanda for 6 months.
Would they stop? Would they stop at the traffic lights?
They stop. That's the point I'm making. So it is about regularization.
Yes, we need proper regulation,
regularize them.
proper training, proper mechanism to control them.
Ibrahim Washara.
Ibrahim Washara.
Yeah, but some Crawford don't pay more because some of the car accident. They're not there as normal.
The rate is an issue.
When I was driving one time, I had the right of way. Somebody just drove into my car.
But you are protected.
Yes.
You are protected.
Yeah, but
helmet
dodoa omonai yebubu
into microphone microphone yeduma. Create jobs for people then.
Oh, na say
galamsey
yensua de na yentumi mboa yemai no.
Anyway,
yensua de
why is the doctor being sarcastic and hypocritical today?
Sorry, why?
Our Magda says we have not received our money, so the 95%. Where is the 95% coming from? Ibrahim Washara says not everyone is born to do book education.
No.
In England, they want kids to even do more apprenticeship than going to the university. Louis G says MPP people party.
I'm on TV.
Bernard K Yabua says this. Dr. Abdul Kisi today is not. Making advancing his argument well. The Okada riders are included with people who have family to look after. Okay. God love Edu Dankwa Nesta says good morning to you, Ghana. Good morning to you, Kumasi. Good morning to you, sir. This one says Linda Sass says very good comment from the incoming MP for Anyaso Tuum constituency, right. Dr. Adama Okisi. How I want to take this advantage to invite all patriots in Anyaso Tuum constituency to campaign, to come for the campaign launch on Sunday at Pentecost University campus. This is Nanayao Amwa, Tuum National Health Insurance Office.
Thank you.
All right. These are a few messages. Well, I have 41, but strangely, I'm not seeing all the messages there. Anyway, let me check what I have here. Kwame. So the MPP man is saying that attending Ghana's SHS is the only way to become successful in life. Ask him if any of his sons are attending Ghana's free SHS from Nana Kweku Krobia in Wenchi.
Do I look that old to have my kids in SHS?
KOD, Ghanaians' money is finished. What are you calculating? The MPP panelists all over stations in Ghana are very noisy and will use buga tactics and close you even though they have stolen. They are awarded for that, and it's bad for we the listeners. They also attack the host being biased. We need good debate. Tell Kisi, it can never be like Indu when it comes to economics. God bless for African TV. Do Daba sent in this one. What is Admiral Kisi talking about? My wife was operating a provisional shop where she makes daily savings to GN Bank in a rural community. In fact, with the closure of the bank, my wife's shop was ransacked by some AB thieves one night and made away with 4,000 Ghana cedis. Abdul from Savannah region. That's the point I'm making. Adama who claims he knows more than Papa Kwesi Indum when it comes to banking. Yate. Mr. Host, I want you to ask Adama Kisi in 2012-2016 President Akufo-Addo wasn't president. So upon what achievement was he about to then MPP? Okay. Today people are not happy. Fellow Ghanaians has been accredited to former President Nkrumah. President Akufo-Addo's score is this 1-2 is 0. He should look for another one. Afeti, hey, he's a fellow Ghanaians. Fellow Ghanaians now is a project, government project. This one says, can I liken the educational system we have in Ghana to this man's opinion? I have watched this very video. Very excellent, superior, knowledgeable, eloquently, succinctly, aptly delivered speech by this man. He was referring to the educational system in Africa, and a brilliant delivery. Kwame, please tell Doctor that he has not impressed me today. Hey, Dr. Good morning, everyone. In every job, there's a risk. You just have to be careful. From Adams in Ashiye. Good morning to you, KOD. This is to Justice Apia of Hot News. Please, Kwame, tell him to stop the very well, and and put the fight before his guest. Justice likes that a lot. Yeah, it's true. Very well, very well, very well. That's okay.
That is a
very well.
speech tag.
That's that's Justice's slang. That's what makes him Justice Apia. If he stops doing that, you won't enjoy him.
Speech
Please.
therapy. We call it speech therapy.
This government has disappointed with the students' loan beneficiaries since the beginning of 2019-2020 academic year. There has not been any disbursement. 2020, Kwame, you are wasting our time. Alhaji Haruna from Ashaiman. I know what you are going to say. Kwame, you are wasting our time. Ghanaians have already taken their decision in advance to bring back GM. Alhaji Haruna from I think Ashaiman. Kyo, good morning to you. Hey, you have sent another message again to Justice Apia. I hear you. Kyo, good morning to you. I really love Dr. Admakusi, but my heart is bleeding this morning for what he's saying about the closure of the banks, especially GN Bank. Has any customer from GN Bank come to complain to them that they went to take money from GN Bank and they didn't get it? This is pure jealousy and envy, because the new banks are doing better than the older ones. And from his analysis, that means the older banks went to pay Bank of Ghana or the finance minister to close the new banks because they are a threat to them, or they are disturbing their operations. I'm very, very disappointed this morning. Oh, Ameshi Dixon from who? Okay, you remember you said that marketing.
Oh, they make
some people.
I haven't seen me because
some people,
why are passionate in one direction, but I said no. You know, it would be Nanami.
Kyo, the MPP man is simply lying to you. But we are also simply watching them anyway. Good morning to you, Kwame. On good morning, Bra Kwame. On teacher salary arrest, I'm a teacher at SHS level. This government has not paid my salary arrest for 6 months. Some are owed 5, 4, 3 months. Meanwhile, we were all given appointment letters September 2016. And Akufo-Addo keeps frustrating our teacher unions. Please invite our leadership in the teachers union for deliberations. They will give you more details. If they are willing to come on air, give me your number. I will call you and I will interview you. As for this platform, be sure that His Excellency Nana Osiadeyo Adodanko Akufo-Addo watches my morning show at Jubilee House. That one I can assure you. An Okada rider saves 20 Ghana cedis a day. If he's able to save 600 cedis a month, how many government workers can do that easily? Jonathan sent in this one. People have done their calculation. Oh. Good morning to you, KOD. You are doing very well. Let's pray that God rescues us from the hands of a party who wants to rule this nation for their own interests. You didn't add your name. Next time, please add your name to it. Kwame, is your program in Chi or in English? Why is the MPP man speaking Chi? MPP are against Okada. Can they give job to all Okada riders? Wheezy sent in this one. Hi, Pan-African TV. Much as the harrowing experience of the soldiers in the hands of the masses at Dome is regrettable, the nasty scene teaches valuable lessons. One, those using soldiers for their parochial interests should cease forthwith. Soldiers are only human who can also be subdued easily by the people. 3, anybody contemplating using soldiers illegitimately to achieve undeserved victory may not succeed in the face of the determined people. All efforts must be made to expose the likes of our dear soldiers to needless jeopardy. Let us not toy with the respect and integrity of the military as an institution. I've seen those very disturbing videos of the military men who were subjected to some inhumane treatment. Well, I think it was in Dome, Kasua area. Unbelievable. I'm Chebe from Polima. Dr. Kisi, I'm shocked by your sudden U-turn. We'll tell Ghanaians whether Data Bank was in a better standing than Unibank. Ni Otuinosu. He says, please, this is not Kokroku. Speak English, Dr. Kisi.
This is unfair.
No. You know, sometimes he likes to just garnish it a little bit. You know, it's fine. It's fine. Alex from Maureen, Cape Coast. Alex, this one is an essay. I can't read it. I'm sorry. And people have done their own calculations. Look, the messages are a lot, but my time is up. I cannot continue any further. What I can do is to extend a big thank you to Dr. Admakusi, your time, your patience, your commitment to the morning show, and the fact that you're going to win an answer to. Sunday, we're going to be there to support you. We're going to be, the doc will be there, right? Good, good, good. And Dr. Marzouk Abubakar Mohammed, thank you very much for your time today. You write for Ghana Web sometimes, right? Because I've seen a few of your articles. Yeah, but you see, it's very important and instructive that we all join hands and we all help in laying the bricks that will form the foundations of the development that we're looking for. You have a significant and materially important role to play in the development agenda that Ghana is seeking to have. I want to implore all young Ghanaians out there to speak up when something is not right, to condemn when something is not right, and for us all to join forces wherever it is that you find yourself, be it in the north, be it in the south, be it in the east, be it in the west. So long as you have the nation at heart, and so long as you want to see the nation progress, you have a responsibility that you must so jealously guard, so that in the future, posterity will be graceful and gracious for the fact that we significantly and materially contributed to the growth and the development that they will come to be. My name is Kwame Owusu Danso. Do have a very pleasantly wonderful day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I salute. Salute.